Good morning, buenos dias, ¿cómo estás? Todo bien, excelente. Today I am sitting here on my porch in Costa Rica. Platanillo is the town that I live in. It's just north of Dominical and Uvita, which is on the Pacific south coast of Costa Rica. I had a moment of clarity. I thought I'd go ahead and share with you some deep, important shit, the real stuff. So, why I'm here, is to rebuild myself financially, spiritually, and mentally. So I came to Nicaragua about 4 years ago, and 2 years ago my wife and I split up, and she wound up taking the kids back to the United States, and I haven't seen them in 2 years. So my problem was, well, I don't have the kids, and I love those little suckers so much, but I don't have them, and that's the problem. And I wanted to look into what was the cause, and the cause was probably financial worries, I think, is what it was, is what is the main reason I don't have my children today. There's a bouncy, we call them ping pongs because my kids and I used to ping pong them, ping, and then he comes back for a pong. But yeah, so financial was the biggest challenge. So I look into it and I go, well, what did I do wrong? What was so wrong that I did that I don't get to have my kids now because of finance, because of money? And well, diving into it is, well, I didn't go to college, so I didn't get a degree where I could have potentially, gotten a job working for somebody. I always tried to work for myself. Somewhat as an entrepreneur, but to be honest, I would have to say I was a wantrepreneur. The difference there we'll get into in just a second, but I worked my way up and I learned a lot of different things, started building that sort of stuff, and at the end there I was doing well. I was making over $100,000 a year consecutively, in two different areas. One in building and a CEO I was of a juice company. So I built a juice company. It was an amazing experience. And I got a paycheck for $100,000 a year. And then I was a marketer and working online, and I was making $100,000 a year. The problem is that I would spend more than I made, and I never actually invested anything that I made. So there's where I think the solution can be for my financial problems, and they've caused a lot of pain in my life, not being able to be financially stable or financially thriving. So what I've come to believe now, after trying so many things, is that the way to get financially free is to earn money by being of service to others, and then invest that money in assets that generate cash flow. That's the key. I mean, in my little mind, I've gone through so many things in different ways to generate income, and it seems to me the best possible thing I can do is find a market which has a demand for an asset, and then put that asset into the market and let it generate cash flow and repeat. And that's basically where Rad Pad has come to now. It started out as a way of trying to earn money, earn money by helping people build houses quickly, more efficiently, radlier, hassle-free, fast at a lower price. And then it got to, well, you know what, man, it's been 2 years I haven't seen those kids. If I get cash, I got cash before. I had $100,000 a year, but yet it didn't help. So if I go out and build houses for people, is it going to help? I'm just going to have to keep building houses forever. So then it kind of clicked, and it was like, wow, that's what it's all about. It's about earning a seat at the table. So to be able to invest in assets that generate cash flow, you have to earn your way there. So in the past 2 years, unlike in the past when I was a wantrepreneur, that was basically my parents would fund my ideas, and they would pay for my mistakes. And I never, got to experience hitting a rock bottom or really know what it's like to be able to say, dude, there's peanut butter for dinner. That's it. There's no other option. And I always had an option of, let's get a loan. let's get more financing, that sort of thing. So this time around, it's building houses for wonderful people like yourself, and taking that money earned and putting it into buying the same house for myself. So I'm actually believing what I'm selling 100%. And I feel that that's the revelation that I've come to in life. I'm 43 years old now, and it's taken a long time to so simply understand money in a whole new way. It's about earning that money by being service to others to purchase assets that generate cash flow. And if I can produce the assets that generate cash flow for others, then I believe that money earned will go right into me doing the same thing for myself. So Zig Ziglar is one of my favorite people ever, and he always said, if you help enough people get what they want, you can have everything in life that you want. So that's what I believe I'm doing here in Rad Pad, in Central America, in Costa Rica, in this town where, you know, I've met 3 or 4 or 5 people now, but basically I know nobody. And I'm here going 100%, and everybody that's supporting me, thank you so fucking much. So another day in the life, let's go get rad. I'm excited, I hope you are too. Let's see what happens. One of my jobs when I get here early is to kind of set up for the day. I'm not welding on this project at all, so I'm basically just cleaning up the welds when they're done and then kind of setting up. And this is the machine I was sharing with you guys that we use for welding the entire Rad Pad. It's so small. We bought it used. I think we have 5 of them. We bought them used, and they're about $100. And the way they work is similar to stick welding, minus the stick and minus the slag and the mess. It basically spits out wire here. And this wire, it creates an arc and melts the wire and melts the steel at the same time. It works pretty darn good. We're using a 0.35 wire right now. We're trying to find a 0.5, so much thicker wire, to see if we can increase the speed. But basically the way this thing works, it just generates electricity, or doesn't generate electricity, it utilizes electricity, and then it has a wire coil and a feed. And those are the 2 things that kind of just break quite often. Not break, but get jammed, and we fix those. So we're looking into getting a more robust version of the same thing, but it runs on 120, so we just run one extension cord wherever we work. It works great on generators as well. You can use tiny little generators and it works just perfect. We had a silent Predator generator and it worked one day on a tank of gas, and it was fantastic. So these are all the tools that we use. We use clamps quite often. We use little pieces of metal like that to wedge in to push the metal where we need it to be pushed, because the biggest learning we had so far on Rad Pad in Costa Rica is that since we're not using Ferromax all the time, and we're going to go to them and talk to them now, but it's pretty evident, you can see right here, this is 3-inch right here, 3-inch from 3-inch, or maybe it is, maybe it isn't, but you can see this one's bigger and smaller. So they're, you know, 1/8 of an inch, they vary, and that varies a lot, because when we make one E panel, the Easy E panel, and we clip it to the next one and the next one and the next one, if they're all 1/8 different, you don't know what you're ending up with by the time you get to the end, right? So that is the biggest challenge so far that we've had in Costa Rica. Also, the foundations have been super tricky, because we're on such a, we said, let's go big, you know, and choose the hardest location possible to do first. In hindsight, maybe that wasn't the best decision, but at least now when we're done with this, we're gonna be like, we can build anywhere. And we found that rather than having somebody come and do the posts in the ground, we're going to actually hire somebody to build the entire deck. Because if you subdivide, like, the responsibility and the accountability is the challenge. So like our posts, you know, they're 12 inches out. Fuck, you know, what do you do, man? You're like, dude, it's a foot wrong. It's not like 2 inches, it's a foot. And we thought, you know, there's so much room to play on one of these plates that there's no way they could be 2 inches out. That would be crazy for us, because we work we accept 2 millimeters in Rad Pad. So a foot is just something we don't even think about. We don't think about a foot wrong. It's just not even possible. So when we had the pillar guy come in and he did the pillars and they were out a foot, then we had to, like, oh man, it was crazy to try and make the posts, you know, be able to line up to the Rad Pad. So what we're going to do from now on is work with a contractor that will build us an entire deck, a cement concrete platform, much like building on a slab, but floating it up in the air. That'll be 1 meter bigger than the Rad Pad all the way around the outside, so we can work easily and calmly. And the accountability is on that one person. So they build a slab. When it's ready, you know, the drainage, the slantage, slantage? That's a new word. You know, it's done, all engineered properly to code and with a permit. When it's done, then we come and we build a Rad Pad. And what we do, like with these E's and stuff, we build that sucker in like couple of weeks. We have a finished house. But when we're monkeying around with trying to figure out how to build a structure that's on pillars that's a foot off with these crazy, it's like, it's too much for us to handle. So that said, that's what we learned the most, is to outsource it a complete task, not break it down into several tasks for accountability, and make sure your provider can provide you with 3-inch by 3-inch, not something that varies within an 1/8 inch, even a 1/4 inch sometimes. So Gabriel should be here soon and we'll start welding.
Ta-da!
Look at that.
And wearing long pants.
Look at those.
Dude,
I have to say, we're semi-similar.
it's already hot.
You're hot?
I don't know if I can take this.
You can try, man. It's not gonna burn. No more burns. Maybe.
I'm just gonna boil from the inside.
All right, give me a go on what today is. Whoa, look at that knife over there. I didn't see that.
Huh.
Did you stick that there?
Yeah.
Smart. Keep it out of the dirt. Yeah. All right, so what else?
Plan. Climbing up.
Yep.
Oh, I'm feeling it, man. Yesterday climbing up and down all day long.
Yeah, man. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
man.
ran and did sit-ups and push-ups last night. Yeah. I did it again this morning, though. Yeah.
Well.
I'm on it, brother.
Okay.
All right. So climbing, doing the ceiling.
Ceiling and roof structure.
Ooh, mamacita.
Yeah.
All right, let's do this.
Yeah.
This job is definitely not for anybody who's afraid of heights or putting their life at risk. You gotta be able to operate your iPhone, undo the lock because it won't recognize your face, take one glove off, and do that, right? It's really no problem. Look at him monkeying around. Just a little fall down there if you... No, you don't fall. That's all there is to it. No falling. I dropped a vise. It's down there.
Dropping vices.
Dropping vices, yeah. Ceiling is pretty much complete now. Next goes the roof on top, and then painting time. We're above the rooftop. We are now building the rack which holds the roof on. We're above the ceiling. And we're about to build the roof that goes on a slant above this. But it is a long fucking way down. We're looking into getting work permits for some of the boys from Nicaragua to come down and join us. And what's happening in your pants right now?
It's on fire. Ding, 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 ding.
John Carlos is getting excited in Gabriel's pants right now as we speak, because the lawyers are working on figuring out how to get a Nicaraguan into Costa Rica to do contract work for a company owned by foreigners. People often talk about building houses out of these things. This is a shipping container. There's a lot to be said about a shipping container. It's kind of a pain in the ass just to store stuff. You can see it all winds up on the floor. You can actually buy these things that clip into these bolts here, and then they have like a wooden shelf. But by the time you get a 24-inch shelf in here and a 24-inch shelf in here, that means you got a 4-foot walkway in here, and it's tight. So this is a 10 by 20, and people actually live in these. So I built one out of an extended 45 tall cube. So this is a low regular cube. A tall cube is 9 feet tall. Another thing to really think about if you're gonna build a house out of a container is this floor here. It seems like it's, you know, it's so strong and it's so freaking hard to remove. It's insane how hard it is to remove this floor. But this is soaked in gnarly ass toxic chemicals that's just, if you read what's in the flooring to keep this wood safe, you wouldn't even want to be walking on it right now, or definitely not living in it, that's for sure. So if you do a shipping container, definitely strip away the floor, which is one of the hardest things I've ever done. The bolts and stuff, it's all rusted in there and covered, and especially if you buy a shipping container that's no longer seaworthy. So seaworthy, they're super strong for 30 years out at sea in the salt water, and they don't rust, and they're painted, and they're amazing, and it's super thick, super strong, and the way that it's corrugated like this is what gives it its strength. So the second you cut a chunk out of this, it is no longer structurally sound at all. Like, you have to reinforce it with metal, but even reinforcing it with metal gives it nowhere near the structural integrity that it has when it's built as itself. The engineering that's gone into these things is absolutely, you know, top of the line. The best of the best have designed these things. So once you start cutting it, that's one thing. Another thing to think about when working with a shipping container is if it's no longer seaworthy, that means it's not gonna last as far as rusting, and, you know, underneath, who knows what's wrong with it. So if you're gonna buy a shipping container, don't buy a $5,000 used shipping container that's not seaworthy. Buy a $15,000 or $20,000 seaworthy real shipping container to start with your house. And then, you know, and it's gotta be a love thing. Like, you gotta love shipping containers, because it does not make sense financially. It does not make sense with ease. It doesn't make sense at all. It's great for shipping shit on the ocean, but other than that, it doesn't make sense. So definitely do it because you love the way it looks. If you're gonna do a shipping container house, that's what it's for. It's for making a statement about what you like. It's not about economically and environmentally and all that. That's all bullshit. The numbers don't add up. There's so much that goes into a shipping container, and especially like the top 4 corners. There's one there, one there, and one behind me, and those are the only points that you can put weight on. If you put weight anywhere else on it, it's not structurally sound for that. It's not meant to be done. So you have to re-engineer the entire thing. So say you want to put one like this and then one sideways, it doesn't work. You have to re-engineer the whole fucking thing, which makes it so much less expensive to do it a different way. And if you do it a different way, you can make it 10 feet wide or 12 feet wide instead of 8. So yeah, definitely only recommend shipping containers if it's seaworthy, so it's new and it's expensive, and if the reason you're doing it is because it's artistic for you. You feel like it's something you love and it's a passion and you don't mind spending more on it, and you just want a house out of shipping container because you think it's cool. That's why you should build a shipping container house. How do you feel, Gabriel?
I feel like it's the weekend.
Yeah. All tidied up here. Everything's looking fantastic. Ready for them to do business.
Yeah.
Let's take a look at the shack and see how far we are.
It was a good long day, I tell you. A lot of heat.
Woo! A good long day is the right way to put it. Now we're just cleaning everything up so it looks nice for the weekend. We're almost done with this bad boy. All we've got is the cross beams up top to be welded. They're all cut and ready to go. They just gotta be put in place and welded in. Then there's a few more braces that go in between each panel where the wood panels are
in this case recycled plastic panels are going to go. And then the rest is put the floor in. Windows guys come, we do the ceiling, the techo, that's the sin, the metal roof, metal ceiling, PVC in between that, glass all around. Some of them will be louver windows, some of them will be shut windows. It's all going to be reflective, so it's going to look like one big mirror cube floating in the jungle. Then the doors, and then we go for the interior. So we'll put in the toilet, the sink, the shower, electricity, lights, ceiling fan, and then Fritz and those dudes will put in the bed. They're gonna put in a king size bed in here. It's gonna be amazing just to be able to wake up in here. So a beautiful floor will be on here. And then we'll have wood panels along here, second one. Louver windows on the third one. Full wall of glass with louver windows in 2 spots all the way along. Then the bathroom right through here. And this door here will be a barn door, so it'll slide to the side. The first 2 panels will be the wood, recycled plastic. Windows above. Same all the way around, so two woods. The toilet over here, sink right here, and a shower right here. And this is what you'll look out to when you're showering. What? Unbelievable. So we're pretty close now. Probably about a week out. Worst case scenario, 10 days. But there is no worst case scenario, it just is what it is. So that is Rad Pad. Signing out, gonna take the weekend off. I'm gonna go to San Isidro and go buy paint and a few other supplies for Monday and order the metal for the time. We're not taking a weekend, but we're just not gonna be working here. Thanks for watching, guys. Everybody have a rad freaking weekend.